The college bowl season kicks off today, and who really gives a damn? Because there's going to be 174 games between now and the college football championship game. And seriously, who gives a damn? The problem now with college bowl games is there are too many variables that affect the games. The coaching changes. You have interim staffs in play. You have so many significant star players that are bypassing the bowls, which I certainly understand because they want to protect their status going into the draft. They don't want to suffer a possible career-threatening injury. It makes sense. But what I have always found to be so difficult when handicapping bowl games is the time off between the end of the regular season and when the teams take the field. Look at today, for example. You have a number of teams that last played around November 24th. We're looking at December 15th. We're talking about a 3-week layoff here between the last time these teams took the field. Now, coach speak will be that, hey, this has been great. We've got 3 weeks of extra practice to prepare for next year. Well, I'm not worried about how you guys are doing next year. I'm worried about how you're doing today. Then you have the motivational factor as well. These teams, some of which, like, let's talk about Utah State, a game I'm going to preview for you in just a second. Utah State lost a chance to go to one of the Big Six games, right? When it lost the Mountain West Championship game. How motivated is a team like Utah State going to be today in what is essentially a consolation game? Or are the Aggies really enthused because Utah State is not exactly a program that gets to the postseason that often? Then on the flip side, you got a Utah State team that watched its coach, Matt Wells, lead them to go to Texas Tech. And you've got an interim staff in play here because the incoming coach, Gary Anderson, well, he's not really formally taking over the program until after the bowl game. That's what makes handicapping these games so difficult. And remember, some of these teams playing today have been off for 3 weeks, right? Imagine the games that are taking place 10 days from now, 2 weeks from now. Now you have teams, how rusty are they going to be? You're not handicapping those teams for how they played, in the middle of November, in the middle of October. No, you're basically handicapping teams that have been idle for 4 to 5 weeks. And that makes the teams that you are betting on not the same teams that you would have bet on in September, October, and November. And that's what makes college bowl handicapping so damn difficult. Okay, listen. I decided to take a pass on today's college bowl games. I'm going to talk about a couple of them here on the video report. I took a pass in college basketball, even though I'm red hot in college hoops. And in basketball overall, hitting 9 of my last 13 after cashing in with a 10-dime easy winner last night, with the Celtics crushing the Atlanta Hawks. Of course, in college hoops, I hit 15-dime best bet number 6 out of 8 with the Houston Cougars getting the job done over LSU on a Wednesday night. No, instead, I turned to the NFL because I think the best bet is actually tonight's late game between the Browns and the Denver Broncos. It's another top-rated 15-dime best bet release, number 50 out of 82, a streak that goes way back to July, starting in the baseball season, as I go for winning day number 95 out of 158, and you once again get it for half price as I continue to prove to you that you don't have to spend big money to make big money, and you get it for half price by using coupon code LATE, L-A-T-E, as that game kicks off at about, 8:20 Eastern Time. These 15-dime best bets in the NFL, I'm 132, 93, and 9 with them over the past 7 seasons, including 11 and 5 over the past 6 weeks. The big college bowl play today, that would be courtesy of Scott Delaney. He is not only going for winning day number 15 out of 21 today, but as you know, normally a 100-dime play is his top-rated release, like Thursdays on the Chargers, like last Sundays on the New Orleans Saints over Tampa Bay. 119 and 92 run with 100-dime major wager releases today. His second 200-dime release of the year, his first in college football. His first 200-dime play, Monday night, Seattle, getting the job done against Minnesota. His second goes today, the Las Vegas bowl game at 3:30 Eastern Time between Arizona State and Fresno State. You get it, half price, just like Monday's winner on the Seahawks, by using coupon code HALF, HALF. All your other coupons and discounts are over on the homepage. Let's talk about some of these games here today. Not only in college football, but I have a college basketball release for you as well. One of my favorite plays on today's busy card. In college bowl action, let's start with the New Mexico Bowl between Utah State and North Texas. Utah State, a team that made me a heck of a lot of money this season. Yeah, am I a little worried that they have the upheaval with the coaching staff? Yes, I am. Am I a little concerned that Utah State failed to come through in its season-ending loss to Boise State 33-24? Yes, and I'm a little concerned even before that because Utah State definitely did not play well in its second-to-last game, also on the road at Colorado State, a game that they barely won against a bad Rams team, 29-24. But then again, I look at this North Texas team that they're playing today, a North Texas team that I expected so much more out of at the season's outset, a North Texas team that barely got by Texas San Antonio in its season finale as a 25-point chalk, winning that game on the road 24-21. The prior week, in a barn burner against Florida Atlantic, won at home 41-38. The week before that, remember, they played at Old Dominion. They were up by 28 points, and they lost that game 34-31. After a 4-0 start, this is a North Texas team that only went 5-3 down the stretch and only covered one time in those final 8 games. This is a North Texas team that also had a little bit, I don't want to say upheaval, but uncertainty would probably be the better word in its coaching ranks, because it was widely assumed that their head coach, Sean Luttrell, was going to take the Kansas State job. Well, he elected not to. But listen, his days are numbered in North Texas. This guy is going to get a big-time job here in the probably next year. Probably made a wise move not going to Manhattan to replace Bill Snyder. But still, there's been uncertainty around that program and their preparation for this game as well. Bottom line in this contest, I would still rather lay the points with a dynamic Utah State offense led by quarterback Jordan Love, who just had a great season this year, a guy that I constantly went to the well with. The Aggies made me money. I can't go against them at this particular point. I think that they have a balanced offense. They can run the ball so damn effectively. They have a great offensive line, only allowed 9 sacks the entire season, an offense that averaged 47.2 points a game, number 3 in the nation. They scored at least 50 points 7 times this year. They only lost 2 games this year. If you recall, their season opener at Michigan State and then that game against Boise that snapped their 10-game winning streak. And I think they're going to get the job done. As I said, Jordan Love, the quarterback, 65.8% completions this season, 28 touchdown passes, 5 interceptions, averaged about 267 yards a game, and a very good running game that supports him with 203 yards per game. So I like Utah State in this one. In the Las Vegas Bowl, interesting contest. Fresno State, of course, coming off the 19-16 overtime win at Boise State, an impressive feat in itself in the Mountain West Championship game. Fresno State coming in here with the number 17 ranked defense in the nation, giving up just 319 yards a game. Number 27 against the run, giving up 129 yards a game. Fresno State only allowed 21 touchdowns this year. Sounds pretty damn impressive because I just told you so, right? Now let me just tell you this. Who did Fresno State play? Yeah, that's the problem. Number 1 in red zone defense, number 2 in scoring defense, giving up just 13.7 points a game. Again, did Fresno State really play anybody? It's not like they were playing Michigan's schedule, Alabama's schedule, right? Okay, but still, it's a nice number. Arizona State comes in here. They're going to be missing 2 significant players. Their top offensive threat, the wide receiver Harry, the junior, who is going to be sitting out this game to protect his draft status and anticipated number 1, a first-round draft pick. I mean, this guy is a dynamic player, 73 catches, 1,000 yards, 9 touchdowns, but also an underpublicized fact, probably their best defensive player, a linebacker, Merlin Robertson, is also going to be out here. And the thing that probably should worry you about Arizona State in this game is that Herm Edwards is really big on, and he's been talking about this, about wanting to give his young players some game experience, because he's looking at this bowl game as a chance to give these young players some game experience to lead to next year. He's looking at this as a teaching game, as a valuable experience gaining game. I mean, there was even talk that he's thinking about giving the sophomore Dylan Sterling Cole, the quarterback, some playing time here at the expense of Manny Wilkins, who the senior is playing his final game. So when I look at this game, I think, well, Fresno State, this means so much more to them because, listen, they already went to UCLA, right? And knocked off Chip Kelly's Bruins earlier this year. Fresno State, you beat a Power 5 conference team again. It's a much more meaningful game for you than perhaps Arizona State. Arizona State, last game, they needed that big rally to beat a bad Arizona team in Tucson. I'll go with Fresno State here, and I'll lay the 6 points with them. College basketball. I like Oklahoma minus 8.5 points over USC today. Now, this game is being played in Tulsa. I mean, third straight neutral court game for the Sooners, but how neutral court is it when it's going to be in your own home state? It's like traveling down the turnpike to get there. Their previous game, they beat Wichita State last Saturday in Oklahoma City, 80-48. Despite playing without their starting center for the second straight game, Jumuni, I think is how you pronounce his first name, McNeese missed a game with a sprained ankle and is questionable today, although some reports have him probably hoping to play today. He averages 9.9 points and 7 rebounds a game. Listen, they still dominated Wichita State on the boards in that game, 52-33. Prior game, they beat Notre Dame, a neutral court game at Madison Square Garden, 85-80. 8-1, Lon Kruger's team on the season. And it's a different Lon Kruger team, or I should say a more typical Lon Kruger type team. Last year with Trae Young, this is a team that played at up-tempo pace, and it affected them defensively. Last year, Oklahoma averaged, it was like 81 or 82 points a game. They had such an up-tempo pace that their average possession was only 14 seconds. That was second fastest among major conference schools. Problem was, it affected their defense. They gave up almost 82 points a game. Well, this year, their defensive yield per game is down to like 64.9 points. Their defense is giving up only 36.3% on the season. That's 7th best in the nation. This USC team, which Oklahoma beat last year when USC was better at the Staples Center by a bucket, USC is coming off a 96-61 loss to TCU at the Staples Center in their last game. They lost their prior game, 73-61, to Nevada at home. Earlier this season, in the Hall of Fame Classic title game played in Kansas City, they got hammered by Texas Tech, 78-63. When I look at the KenPom.com ratings, you've got Oklahoma up at 32, and you've got USC down at 87. The most important thing that I've stressed to you previously, early in the season, non-conference strength of schedule ratings at KenPom.com. You've got Oklahoma, who has played Wichita State, Notre Dame, beaten Florida, only lost to the season to Wisconsin, nothing to be ashamed of. You've got non-conference strength of schedule. You've got Oklahoma ranked 23, and you've got USC's strength of schedule non-conference wise 158. That's why I'm willing to lay the 8.5 points, which, listen, it's in the state of Oklahoma. It's a home game for the Sooners as far as I'm concerned. So again, Utah State and Fresno State in college football. Oklahoma, love the Sooners. That would probably be my second favorite play of the entire day in college hoops. That'll do it. Wish you well, and talk to you again on Sunday for NFL. Good luck, everybody.